Hey, it's Julie, and welcome to today's session on how to stop pushing in your business and still get clients. So this is a topic that has been really present for me recently, and I've been speaking to a lot of women who have businesses. They are perhaps HSP, a highly sensitive person, and or an introvert, but they have been trained, as I was, to push all the time in business, in our marketing, in our visibility, in our posting, even in our client delivery. And what this does is it trains the nervous system that you always have to be on, which, if you have a sensitive nervous system, that is not a good thing. And you probably will have discovered for yourself that over time, the consequences, the price of that is really high. We're talking burnout, we're talking, crashing, we are talking struggling to continue in your business, periods of energy and then periods of very low energy where you get sick. If you have any kind of health conditions, they flare up. It can also affect us mentally, our mental health, our energy. As highly sensitive people, we naturally process so much more at any given time. It's like, as you know, we are just so much more sensitive to our environment, everything that's going on. And there's evidence that suggests that highly sensitive people process way more data than other people. And so we really do get to and need to manage our energy if we are to have sustainable, thriving businesses. And so this is the conversation that we've been having. And I would say, in my circle anyway, we all agree we don't want to hustle, and I'm talking unhealthy hustle here. We don't want to have to post on Facebook 10 times a day. We don't want to feel like we're already on and we can't take a break, or, when our energy is more inward focused, that we can't honor that and rest, that we have to be connecting, that we have to be in the DMs, replying to clients and prospects and what have you. I say no. And my experience is when I stopped doing that, business actually flowed a lot better. My income has increased to what it was. It's increased again, getting up towards the sort of more around the COVID levels, sort of heading in that direction. But I'm going to share with you what's worked for me and also what hasn't, because the next natural question that we have once we sort of say, okay, I don't want to work like that, but I still want clients. What the hell do I do? How much activity do I need to do? What should I be doing? Because I agree, I don't want to push, I don't want to burn out, but we've got to do something, right? And of course the answer is yes, we'll do something, but it's all in how you do it, how you work with your nervous system, and the way that we do it and the way we feel about it. So my term for this is do business like a woman. But, it's just finding a way that works for you. And that's the conversation we're going to have today. And I want to answer then, okay, I'm an HSP. I know I don't want to hustle. I know I don't want to burn out. And I still want clients, Julie. So what the hell do I do? How do I balance this thing? What activities do you recommend? And so for me, and all of the clients that I've coached and trained and worked with over the years, there are some baseline activities that I absolutely recommend you do and you get to play with and find your own rhythm with if you want to have more clients. And those are, very simply, finding a way to connect with people. Now, I'm not talking about every day, all day. But even if you are an introvert, even if you're an HSP, we need to connect. And actually, we like connecting, most of us, right? But it's just that we don't want to be on all the time. So we've got to balance that with rest, times to recharge, times to be by ourselves, time to switch off. At the same time, yes, we need to connect. So I always say to people, find the way to connect. And for me, the ways I love, I'll tell you how I'm going to do this. I'll tell you exactly what I would do if I needed more clients. If I was in a place in my business and I wanted more clients, what would I be doing? And this is a baseline that I've gone back to at various points in the last 11 years when I have been in that place, okay? So, you know, if I needed more clients today and I wanted to bring new people on, what I would be spending my time on each day when I sat down to do my work time, after I've done my morning routine, my yoga, my self-care, which is for me to top up. So I'm not rushing to my desk. I'm maybe arriving at my desk around 10 a.m., but this is what I would do. I personally would be, yes, I'd be creating some content, not churning it out, chat GPT style, although you can use chat, absolutely, but I love to put the personal touch. I'm sure you do. Okay, so I'd be doing some mindful content and I would be sharing that, and there's various ways you can do that. And we'll talk about that another time, because there are platforms that lend themselves to slower but more sustainable growth, like YouTube, and then there's platforms where there's a lot more churn and burn. And there's nothing wrong with those platforms, they just work a bit differently and they require something different of you. But we don't need to be on Facebook posting all day, every day to do this. To get a handful of clients that you want to work with and a sustainable income. So, number one, I'd be creating some mindful content each week and sharing in a way that worked for me without over pushing and overstimulating myself. Number two, I would be connecting with people. Now, for me, this looks like in the DMs, reaching out, connecting. I have a specific way I do it. I'm not trying to sell. I'm not doing that. I am connecting. Now, the people I'm connecting with are business owners, so they could become a client at some point, but that's not, I'm not going in with the agenda of like, I must sell you. That's icky. Connection, relationships over time lead to clients. So I am focusing on connecting and making relationships, checking in with people. I like to do this in the DMs. I'm really comfortable with that at this stage. Doesn't feel icky to me, doesn't feel sleazy. It's just a way to connect online, which I love, because then I get to be at home or travel. You know, I don't have to be in a specific location. I would also then be picking a networking group that works for me. Now, there are times in the past where I've hated networking, but I've found a really lovely, friendly networking group that works for me, and I would be attending that group. Now, again, not pushing, no like, you know, one meeting every single week or any of that malarkey. You know, once a month, a couple of times a month, but I would be making meaningful connections, learning about them, doing follow-up calls with them just to connect, get to know you calls, asking them, being really curious about what they do. Can I support them in any way? Not necessarily through them paying me, but can I connect them to someone? Do I have a resource that would benefit them? And I'd be sharing what I do. That is one of the quickest way for you to get clients, because you're meeting people and you're connecting directly. I would also be then working a dream client list. So that's literally a spreadsheet or a list where you capture people who you think you might like to work with. And you don't have to know that immediately, but you just build up this list of names, you keep in contact with them, you keep serving, you keep giving value, and then ultimately some of them will become clients. It really is as simple as that. Now, there comes a time when you're going to invite them to work with you as well, and I know that can bring up stuff. But really, those are the basic client creation activities. Even as an HSP, we get to do those, and we get to do it in a way that feels joyful and grounding and nourishing, and from a place of being topped up and sharing, not from a place of should and obligation. And I think that has been the real game changer for me. The real difference is not pushing myself like I have to do this thing because this coach told me I should. Even when there's someone I respect, you know, it's stopping all the shoulds and finding your way, your rhythm. For example, when I have my period every month, I stop, I don't do any coaching calls, I don't show up, and I rest. And that is essential for me with my body, my nervous system. You know, that is one way that I look after myself. You might have different ways. Point is, when we do it in a way that feels supportive and nourishing and grounding, that tops us up, that gives us energy, and then we are sharing from there. Let me know, how does this feel to you? What are you getting from this? If you're on Facebook, give it a like, please give me a hello. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be sharing lots more of this, and I'd love to have you along for the journey if it resonates. So that's what I would be doing to get clients. And it works. It absolutely works. What we then need to do is, once you're full with clients, you need to manage that client delivery versus energy and know when enough is enough, right? But anytime you need more clients, because it happens in business, we have ebbs and flows and we get booked up and then, you know, a client finishes or whatever, you can come back to this in some way, shape or form. So if it was me, I'd be sitting down at my desk, 10 a.m, I'd be doing my power hour first, connecting with people, sharing some content, and this would all feel really good and really juicy. And what I'm working, and I know it does because I've done it whenever I've needed to, and my clients do it, and it works incredibly well for them. Of course, video is a great way to share because people get to experience your energy in your face, but again, we're not going to do it from a place of should. Like what a lot of my clients in our group Turn Browsers into Buyers have found is that yes, they're going to sort of push themselves to do the initial uncomfortable thing if they've not done a live before, but actually it's not about guilting and pushing and shoulding themselves. Rather, it is about feeling the resistance, feeling the stress and the pain and the trigger, and then showing up gently anyway and continuing to do that, and it becomes a habit. And this is how they've expanded, this is how they've got over those hurdles, and they're getting clients now, right? So Tony Robbins says, not that I'm a huge fan of his, but he says we've got to stop shoulding all over ourselves. And I agree with that. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Leave me a comment, let me know how this lands. How do you protect your energy as an HSP? And which of those client creation activities are you going to do and try? If I can help you at all, reach out. I love chatting with you. I love connecting. I promise I'm not going to try and hard sell you if you connect with me. Let's just connect. Let's just talk. How can I support you? And do share this video as well with anyone you think would benefit. Bye for now.